Now we're going to talk to Nesbah Muslim, a Muslim filmmaker from New York who is training in London at the moment. He has the most inspirational story again. Today I'm talking to Nesbah Muslim in a wonderful, rather cold Trafalgar Square. Nesbah is a filmmaker and a film student in London, and he comes from New York. So really we're trying to find out what he feels is great about Britain. What's the good news story for him? So Nesbah, tell me what brought you to London first of all, and secondly, how on earth did you become one of the new generation of filmmakers?
So I came to London because I'd honestly never been abroad before, and I thought I wanted to go to a place that, you know, occupied my imagination for so long. I'm originally Bangladeshi, and obviously growing up in Bangladesh, you know, one of the places you hear about abroad is London a lot. So I wanted to come here for the longest time, and you know, when the opportunity presented itself, there was no other place that I wanted to go to. Filmmaker, huh? So I was studying international politics at Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. And one semester, one of my best friends was working on a documentary, and he just asked me to lend a hand, and I was just running around with him getting some footage, and along the way I just realized that there was something in it that I really enjoyed.
Being in the media is such a responsibility. Do you think it's really time for young filmmakers like yourself to really talk about your lifestyles as well?
Absolutely. I think more than anything, from a story perspective, it's really important because, you know, whether it's Britain or the United States, there's a huge demographic shift everywhere. And if you keep telling the same old stories, people are just not going to come to the movie theaters. You know, it's a simple concept. So I think more than anything else, out of that necessity, you know, it's important for young filmmakers from diverse backgrounds to tell their stories. But even beyond that, it's important because one of the things that's necessary for any sort of community to become part of a country's mainstream is cultural representation. And I think unless you have filmmakers and artists and dancers and singers from these backgrounds telling their stories through those mediums, people of other communities can't really see the similarities between themselves and those new communities. So yeah, I think for that purpose too, it's really important that more and more people tell those stories. So yeah.
No, I totally agree with this, because obviously you are of the Muslim faith, but that's a so what. It's part of your culture, your background. Do you think at times that you're misrepresented if you sort of tell someone that you're Muslim?
Yeah, I would say so, especially growing up in New York for a fair bit. You watch Fox News, and you watch people like Glenn Beck and Rush Limbaugh, who, you know, just jump on every opportunity to stereotype Muslims. And it's important for people to understand that Muslims come in all shapes and sizes, all attires, you know, and all sorts of looks. There's not a certain look to what a Muslim looks like or behaves like. And so yeah, I definitely think we're misrepresented. I can't say I have watched a lot of news from Britain, but I would guess that it's very similar here as well. So yeah.
What do you think you can actually change then? What's the types of things that you feel as a filmmaker that you can do that will actually make that change, make people realize you're just a normal person?
Sure. So I'll give you a very specific example. This just actually came to mind. So currently I'm working on a screenplay. It's a Woody Allen type romantic comedy, except the protagonist is a girl who happens to wear the hijab, you know? And I think it's not a revolutionary concept in that this romantic comedy of mine has similar elements to what you have seen in the last 40 years, except the protagonist looks different from what you've seen. And I think by that very virtue, if that film ever comes to be, what my hope is that a person looks at that and says, wow, I really enjoyed the film because I could relate to the struggles of the protagonist or the journey of the protagonist. And then as an aside, they're like, oh, they happen to wear the hijab. And I think that's the important part. It's not to tokenize people.